I'm Paul. Today we're going to have a look at the all-rounder from Phil Grace. Okay, what's the all-rounder all about? Well, as the name suggests, it is super versatile for a variety of conditions and surfers, but specifically when we're saying all-rounder, we're talking about that kind of mix between a performance longboard and more of your traditional sort of log. This comes between the two with the emphasis on user-friendly versatility. And you'll see what I mean about being a hybrid between that high-performance longboard and the log type of outline. You see, we got plenty of width up there in the nose, so if you want to get toes over, walking up the board, plenty of stability for you. That will come back into more of a pulled-in tail, that beautiful pin. So just blend in kind of those classic sort of refined details from the sort of golden age of logging back in the day with some of those more performance elements to make sure this thing goes in whatever kind of ways you want to surf it in. Rocker profile. Now, a high performance longboard, they can be pretty banana-y. This one has got pretty mellow entry rocker, just a little lift right up there on the nose, just to help keep that nose out of the water. And then a pretty mellow curve throughout with a little bit more lift out the tail. Now the lift out the tail, crucially, is going to give you a little bit more options on exactly where your stance is on this. So you can afford to be a little bit further or back up the board and it will still feel pretty sensitive under your feet. Kind of medium, full rails throughout, so keeping that volume throughout the board. We're talking about stability and kind of user friendliness. Sometimes when you get into logs, you talk about some of those really pinched, kind of rolled rails. This one, something much more sort of familiar for an everyday surfer. You don't necessarily need to be like a longboard specialist to have fun with this board. Time to have a look at some of these bottom contours. Let's see what's going on underneath the all-around. A little bit of V coming in up top as well. So we've got quite a lot of surfboard there. I mentioned that wise outline, quite a bit of foam, and that V helping you roll it over from rail to rail. And as we move on through, a little bit more concave into that V. Not massive amounts of concave here, a little bit there, just to keep things alive and juiced up. And that V will continue all the way through the back part of the board. So pretty mellow transitions from those bottom contours, but certainly Gracie, as with everything he does, all blended together sweetly into a board that just wants to surf and trim and perform. Okay, checking out fin setup, your classic 2+1. I know Gracie's a bit of a fan of this, just blending in those aspects of performance and that kind of familiar feel as well. So the US box to slide in a single, you can surf it as a single, but just with the extra side bite fins, something smaller in there just to give you that little bit of extra drive and grip as well, and just to make this thing work in a slightly wider variety of conditions. Gracie reckons you can surf this one when it's pretty small, trims beautifully. Also, when the surf gets a bit bigger, this board still wants to turn and stay in the pocket. So a really fun option for a variety of people, whether you're like a hardcore purist logger, whether you're into like lighter, more performance longboards. Everyone's looking for that kind of magic hybrid that does the best of both worlds. And I think Gracie has absolutely found that with the all-rounder.